Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Our ceremony will begin shortly. Please take a moment to silence or turn off your cell phones and take your seats. Please rise for the entrance of the official party and commissioners. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Joshua Hildebrand, and on behalf of our presiding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Brian J. Whithoff, United States Air Force ROTC Detachment 270 Commander, I would like to welcome all of you to Detachment 270's Air Force Reserve Officers Training Corps Spring 2025 Commissioning Ceremony. Today's ceremony is the culmination of many years of hard work and dedication by our commissionees. As the ceremony proceeds, feel free to move to a position to take pictures. Will you please rise for the posting of the colors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem.
Present the colors. Post the colors.
Please remain standing. Cadet Joe Sanchez, please come forward for the invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we gather here today to celebrate the significant milestone of commissioning. These seniors, we ask that you grant them safety and peace as they embark on their careers Above all, we thank you for sending your Son, Jesus, through whom we made right with you. Amen.
Thank you, Cadet Sanchez. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to recognize our official party and distinguished guests in attendance. Behind me, our official party, the presiding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Brian J. Withoft, Commander of Detachment 270, Major Brian J. DeBarres, Detachment 270 Operations Officer, and our featured speaker and honored guest, Lieutenant Colonel Tyson Pina. Also, our distinguished guests in attendance today, President Richard H. Linton, Colonel Michael Schenck Jr., U.S. Air Force, retired, Colonel David Parks, U.S. Army, retired, Colonel Hogan, U.S. Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel Botso, U.S. Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel John Drake, U.S. Army, retired, Command Sergeant Major Larry Poague, U.S. Army, retired, and honored cadre, Technical Sergeant Corey Perez, Staff Sergeant Deshaun Wilson, and Mrs. Melissa Winkle. You will soon witness the swearing in and pinning of the Air Force's newest second lieutenants. These lieutenants will depart this institution and take critical leadership positions in the world's greatest Air Force. This morning, we have the privilege of having Lieutenant Colonel Tyson Pina, U.S. Air Force, retired. Lieutenant Colonel Tyson Tiny Pina was commissioned into the U.S. Air Force in 2003 upon graduating from the U.S. Air Force Academy with a Bachelor of Science in Social Sciences. While at the Academy, he also played as a forward for the Air Force Falcons men's basketball team. He later earned a master's degree in business organization and leadership from the University of Kansas. His commissioning marked the start of a distinguished 21-year military career. Lieutenant Colonel Pina's decision to join the Air Force was inspired by his grandfather, a Navy veteran, and his stepfather, who supported his aspirations. Raised in New Bedford, Massachusetts, he committed early on to a life of service and excellence. Throughout his career, he held key leadership positions, including commander of the 966th Airborne Air Control Squadron, Director of Operations for the 16th Airborne Command and Control Squadron, and Assistant Director of Operations for the 422nd Test and Evaluation Squadron at Nellis Air Force Base. He flew over 100 combat missions and led initiatives that strengthened operational readiness and efficiency. Lieutenant Colonel Pina is currently serving as the Aviation Department Head at the Kansas State University Salina Aerospace and Technology Campus. He oversees a program of more than 500 personnel and 30 aircraft, managing a $7 million budget and over 17,000 annual flight hours. He is committed to expanding industry-relevant academic programs, enhancing safety management, and developing strong alumni and industry partnerships. His vision centers on fostering a culture of excellence and mentorship to prepare future aviation professionals for success. Lieutenant Colonel Pina, would you please provide your remarks?
So I'm going to go without a microphone. You guys hear me in the back? Honor guard? Nice. Great job, guys. Way to make everyone proud. You are the spotlight is on you every time you bring that flag forward, and it's a sense of pride for all of us in uniform, so thank you for doing that. Invocation was awesome. What a great start to this prestigious ceremony. Pardon me if I get a little bit emotional, because 21 years ago, that was me on that stage. And so I know what you guys are going through, the emotions and the excitement about what you're going to do. And what he said earlier, the world's greatest Air Force, that's so true. And I'm excited that you guys are going to take part of it. I retired last year, and I can tell you that the 21 years of memories will sustain me for the rest of my life. I love every second of being in service, and every old guy with gray in their beard will tell you, I would trade with you guys in a second, because what you're about to embark upon is about to change your life for the better. So get ready for it. I am honored to be here, because honestly, these future lieutenants, they deserve a general to be up here talking about them, but instead they reached down to the aviation department and got some lieutenant colonel. So hopefully I can do it justice, and I can provide some excitement, some mentorship, and some perspective for the parents in the crowd that you guys can walk away from. You guys aren't going to remember this. That's okay. You're probably not going to remember me except he's a really, really tall lieutenant colonel, and that's okay. But hopefully we can get you out of here kind of quick, so I'm going to stick to my notes. I want you to know that you're about to enter a service in which you are part of that 1% that's willing to serve their country, that you love this country so much that you're willing to fight and possibly die for it. And that is something that I need you to keep close to you. And I want you to know that your team, now that you're crossing in, we're all about you. For me personally, I shaved my beard to be here. Okay? Because I already love you. And when they said, hey, would you do us this honor? There is no other answer but, yeah, absolutely I'll do this. But dang it, I'm gonna have to shave my beard. So here I am, baby-faced, in front of you guys, feeling a little bit less clothed. And so we'll see how it goes. One of my favorite quotes from the Academy, and I think it's germane to this situation, is from John Stuart Mill. And please pardon it, it's from the 1800s. And so when I say men, I mean people, okay? Please forgive that part of it, okay? War is an ugly thing, but it's not the ugliest of things. The decayed and degraded state of moral and patriotic feeling, which thinks that nothing is worth war, is much worse. A person who has nothing for which he is willing to fight, nothing which is more important than his own personal safety, is a miserable creature and only remains free through the exertions of better men than himself. Ladies and gentlemen, those men and women are sitting up here on the stage before you today. And I hope that you're proud that they are stepping up to the plate in a time when we need them. They decided during their college careers that they're going to take on an additional duty. I'm going to take a full class load and I'm going to be in ROTC. Why? Because I want to serve my country. Now, I am not delusional. I know some of y'all did it because you needed money for college. That is okay. That is okay. You still had to serve. In my personal opinion, I think the world would be a better place if everyone served something before they went out, whether it's Peace Corps or something bigger than themselves. It gives you just a different perspective on life. You guys are about to get that different perspective. And so I thank you. I need you to also know, once you pin on those butter bars, you're already leaders. So you need to step up and lead. And I know a lot of these people, all the parents out there are like, oh my God, my baby is about to lead. I don't even know if they brushed their teeth this morning. Right? But you're going to grow into it. You're going to be fantastic leaders, but I leave you this one thing. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Ladies and gentlemen, emotional intelligence is the most under-talked about leadership skill out there. You have to understand your people. You have to get to know them. Back in my day, I'll say our day, President Lynn, right? Back in our day, I would see a lieutenant colonel and I'd immediately like, sir! And they'd say, who are you? What's your name? What's your family background? And I would give them everything, right? Because I inherently trusted my leader. Now, we don't let our children out of the backyard until they're like 13 or 14, right? So it's a different time and place. And so as leaders, you have to go to your airmen and you have to say, I already trust you, but I'm going to earn your trust. And that's a completely different shift than the way that it was back in the day. But what I will tell you is that it's worth it. And these guys can tell you that it's worth it because as they earn their trust, this generation is supremely capable. They think fast. They're empathetic. They make things happen. They are creative. But you have to pull that out of them. And now you, as the adults in the room, are going to have to pull that from your airmen. And you're going to. And we're all going to sit back, watch, and be proud. The way to do it successfully is to be humble, approachable, and credible. And a lot of people mistake humility. Humility is not like, gosh, I'm a pretty good Air Force officer. If you think you're a pretty good Air Force officer, I don't need you being in the Air Force, right? I want you to be a great Air Force officer and know that they trained you to be great Air Force officers, and you're going to hold yourself to that, right? Humble is, I know that I can always be better. And I'm willing to listen to anybody and take on the inputs of anybody in order to continue to climb and be better. So when your airman talks to you and they go, hey, can I talk to you real quick? Hey, boss, here's the thing. You take that input and you run it through your filter. And if it makes sense to you, you change the way you do things for the betterment of that airman and the betterment of that organization. You're humble. You'll listen, right? Approachable. Wow, it's super cool. Now I'm 6'8", so I'm kind of intimidating sometimes. And I know that, and so I have to use my emotional intelligence to kind of bring it down a little bit. But it's really cool to be that officer that walks through the hall and nobody wants to talk to you and they part the waters and the seas, right? That's awesome. But what's better is the fact that your bosses know you're going to be late to a meeting because all of your airmen want to talk to you. They want to be a part of your life. They want you to be a part of their life. They are more likely to tell you when they're having an issue. That's what's important. Be approachable for them. And then last but not least, be credible. As an Air Force officer, what you say matters. So make sure it's correct. If it's not, here's what you do. You go back to humility. You go, I don't know, but let's go look that up. We'll go look it up together, and then you find out. And then they know their leaders are fallible too. They know that their leaders aren't going to tell them things that aren't true. They're going to get straight facts from you, and they're going to trust you more, and that relationship grows. Right? Humble, approachable, credible. Find a mentor. Whether it's officers that outrank you to let you know where you're going in your career and how you're doing, get that feedback. But I would argue the most important mentors for a young officer to have, NCOs and senior NCOs. And to just prove how important that is to me, when I was a commander, I never went anywhere without my chief. When I was a director of operations, I never went anywhere without my op suit. And now that I'm leading an aviation department, I have my 2 retired enlisted members right here that lead my safety department. And I don't go anywhere without any of them because they're more likely to go, boss, you're messing it up. Boss, the way you said that was dumb. That's not who you are, right? We need those people in our lives that can hold us accountable. And I guarantee your senior E's are those people. I guarantee it. Test them. Test them. And then know that you chose the correct service. I see Davey. Where are you RTC? Somewhere? You're at the wrong academy. I love you. You look great in those dress whites. It's fantastic. You chose wrong. There's still a cross-commissioning opportunity. Cross in. I got it. It's okay. Mentorship starts early. Other services are going to make fun of you, right? The chair force. Oh, got him! Ah. It's because they're jealous, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? They're jealous. Let me just give you one story, right? There I was. Where were we? 120 degrees in a fog in Iraq. It was not the greatest. But what was the greatest was we had a strike of F-15Es coming inbound. And that strike, led by General Brown from the KOP, amazing individual. I wrote his speeches at one point. Nobody should have ever let me get hold of the English language like that. We planned a strike, and it was to put precision bombs consecutively down a pipe to bury into a bunker, which is absolutely amazing, the precision that it takes. Stop watching Top Gun. That is not real. It's an awesome movie, but it is not real. What we did was real. And watching each one drop into this little chute like this, bop, 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 you realize how lethal air power is and how we can reach out and touch anyone in the world within 24 hours. You guys are wielding that sword. Take pride in it. And then on the other side of it, there I was in Yuma, Arizona with the Marines. Do we have any Marines? north, so I understand scheme of maneuver. I can grunt it up with the rest of them. Right? I got it. I'm in there, right? All right. And so we're drawing it up. Hey, we're going to LD here. You guys are going to be Overwatch here and blah, 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 and everything's good. And they're like, wow, you speak the speak. You want to go down range with us? And I said, no. They're like, why? I'm like, okay, I'm staying downtown at the Marriott. And they have a hell of a brunch. So absolutely not. Okay? So that's what they make fun of. Don't let them get to you. Air conditioning in your tent is okay. Never not take pride in that. All right, finally. Parents, spouses, grandparents, significant others, siblings, please stand up. Please. Clap for them. People say it, but they don't understand it. You guys will bear the brunt of their service more than anyone else. Because when they're downrange doing cool things like, yeah, look at that was cool, wow. Sweating, usually. Hopefully you guys don't have to go to the desert and spend, 4.5 years there and like 6 years total gone from home, but it was worth every second of it. You guys will be home. You guys will be worried about them. You guys will be lovingly waiting on them to return. The seconds will go by slowly. You also serve. Never forget that, okay? I thank you for your service. I thank you for giving us your best and brightest, because without them, we can't do what we do. We will not be the most lethal in the world. And as much as I love sports, as much as I love going to Ireland and beating Iowa State in a couple months, in the Air Force, we cannot, double negative, not be undefeated. We cannot afford to lose. And so we need the best and the brightest that understand the tactical advantages that we have, that understand what we're moving into and can employ properly on that. We can't do it without them. And so on the precipice of their commissioning, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the next generation to pass it on. And this past year being just a civilian with a beard has been awesome. It's been a great transition being here at K-State. But I envy them for what they're about to go through and the things that they're about to see. And most importantly, the friends and the bonds that they're going to make over their time. Whether you guys spend 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, some of y'all are going to be a general one day, and you're going to spend 40 years in uniform. Whatever time you end up spending is probably going to be the greatest of your life, as long as you make it so. There are definitely times where it's gonna suck, okay? I think we call it trauma bonding. Yeah, absolutely. Trauma bonding with your bros, okay? Oh, this is terrible. Yeah, but it's terrible together. All right, you're right. You're right, okay? Cherish it. Cherish every single moment. Take the picture. Take the trip. Get overseas. Go do the things. Brag to your parents. Haha, I'm in, where was your son? His son was in Liechtenstein. In a principality, right? Take the time to do that, and then all of a sudden this guy's like, hey, look where my son is, right? That's you guys. You guys are going to do that. Be proud of them, because what they're doing is important. Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me be the ones that have sent you off into greatness. Thank you for sending us your best and the brightest. Let's get this commissioning going.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Payne. As a token of our appreciation for your inspiring words, we'd like to present you with a Detachment 270 coin and a framed portrait. Lieutenant Colonel Whithoff, will you please come forward and share your remarks for our commissioning ceremony?
I don't know how I follow that. Okay, so first thing before I get into my normal remarks, because I always take longer than I should for things, we wouldn't be here today without a couple of our cadre, and I want to make sure that I took a couple of minutes to make sure that they're awarded for what they've done. Tech Sergeant Perez, front and center.
Technical Sergeant Corey D. Perez for meritorious service. Technical Sergeant Corey D. Perez distinguished himself in a performance of outstanding service to the United States as Officer Accessions Instructor, Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps Detachment 270, Kansas State University, Manhattan, Kansas. During this period, he was the academic instructor for 65 first-year students. He recruited, trained, and evaluated over 180 young men and women as prospective Air Force and Space Force officers. Additionally, he restructured cadet administration and pay at Detachment 270, ensuring 100% compliance on contracting, commissioning, and scholarship processes for the Union. Furthermore, he supported the commander and 2 officers in hundreds of administrative tasks from higher headquarters. In conjunction with Kansas State University staff, he created a first-of-its-kind learning community for the program, which will benefit first-year cadets for years to come. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Technical Sergeant Corey Perez reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Major Brian J. Tabarez distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Operations Officer, Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps Detachment 270, Kansas State University, Manhattan, Kansas. During this period, he was the Assistant Professor of Aerospace Studies, where he recruited, trained, and evaluated over 180 young men and women as prospective Air Force and Space Force officers. Additionally, Major Tabarez overhauled the self-assessment culture at Detachment 270 that resulted in the identification and resolution of 47 deficiencies and a novel process to increase and maintain compliance for future cadre. Furthermore, he directed a field training preparation plan that readied 40 cadets for field training and resulted in 3 distinguished graduates and 4 superior or exemplary performers. Finally, Major Tabarez executed duties as a flight training officer during Field Training 2022. His leadership of 63 officer candidates instilled warrior ethos, professionalism, and dedication to service, which contributed to the commissioning of over 2,000 Air and Space Force second lieutenants. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Major Tabarez while serving his country reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you so much for being here with us this morning to celebrate the commissioning of these young men and women into the United States Air Force. I have a lot of mixed emotions today, and hopefully I don't cry. Most Air Force officers don't, but I do. I'm sorry. While it breaks my heart to say goodbye to these students in this program, I'm so proud of this commissioning class and believe that these are some of the best and brightest the Air Force has to offer. Here's a couple of things that you should know about each of our cadet commissionees. David Bartlett, Target's going to miss you. There will be far more scooter thefts without you. He would have helped Shepard buy a plane, but he's married. As I did when I married Megan, you out-punted your coverage, as they say. The Air Force is going to ask a lot of you as a pilot, and it's our spouses, like Audrey, who often have to carry the load of taking care of home life. Make sure you celebrate her accomplishments and her everyday work as well. Brody Boehm, one of the old crusty fifth years. Could have done a mediocre job throughout his fifth year, but still took on the challenge of being a flight commander and was instrumental in the success of the field training exercise. One of the driving forces behind renovations of the detachment that will be enjoyed by cadets for years to come. If you haven't gotten by the detachment recently, you should go by. It's incredible. While it's a disappointment that you couldn't be a pilot, you're going to be an outstanding developmental engineer and a great leader to those under you. Shelby Clinton, one of my favorite quotes, "I'm having a hard time live, laugh, loving in these conditions." 3-time wing commander interview queen. And if Aaron ever does anything so dumb as fake propose again, let us know and we'll come find him. She is the top assassin in the cadet corps. She killed a lot of cadets. One of your greatest strengths is your desire to hold others accountable to standards. And half of being a good leader is just being present, and you are somebody who is constantly there to support others. Sierra Creek, the most positive and bubbly personality in the wing during my time here. Hands down. Dealt with trials and challenges in the program and still managed to finish strong. She put together a fantastic dining out. Her subordinates will know that she has their back throughout her career. Evan Drake, if there's anyone in the Air Force left who will get trained to fly the A-10, it's going to be you. For future reference, though, it may not be a good idea to get experimental eye surgery. I'm just going to throw that out there. You are also the worst assassin. You have the best attitude and are one of the most dedicated, hardworking young men I've ever met. Somehow you combine a healthy amount of confidence with a healthy amount of humility. You'll not just be a great pilot, but a great leader. Lily Galimba, world traveler, coffee and food connoisseur. We immediately bonded on that. You're highly intelligent and hungry for knowledge. You also have an adventurous spirit and are going to see and do some amazing things in the Air Force. Drew Holliday doesn't need the spotlight. One of the quietest guys in the detachment, but probably is one of the most mature men of his age that I know. You also married up. My daughter really enjoyed getting to know your wife while they were working together. You are a godly, consistent, steadfast leader, and I know you're going to make an excellent officer. Ann Langford, highly professional cadet. She's also a professional procrastinator. She waited until the last possible minute to apply to be a pilot. And despite her best efforts, she got selected to not just be a pilot, but a helicopter pilot at that. You're a highly capable young woman who I know I can trust with critical tasks. Those entrusted to your care in the future are going to be well taken care of. Cameron Maltz, another of the crusty fifth years, but decided he was going to make sure that he left this place better than he found it. He really is the architect behind Det 270's renovations. He built a wall. We needed one. So he tore down old boards. He built a wall with soundproofing material. He built a coffee bar, created a bunch of usable space that modernized the detachment that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 80s. The 1980s. Right. 1900s. Yep, I hear that all the time. Thanks. You're a great example of hard work, and your unit is going to be lucky to have you. Deirdre Poague. When I first met you, I thought you might just be doing our program because all of your friends were doing it. But this program isn't for the faint of heart. When you got back from field training, we immediately noticed a difference in your confidence. You surprised me by applying to be the vice wing commander, and it was great to see that fire in you. You are going to kill it as a civil engineer, and I am so jealous you're going to England. I hope I get to hear from you about your adventures. I'm really excited for you. Riley Shelton, he always looked underwater in his double E degree. I had that same look throughout my double E degree, I promise. But you maintained a good attitude throughout the program. I noticed that your path is very similar to mine. You're going to AFROTC. I know it's going to be a challenge, but you're a smart guy. I'm highly confident in your ability to push through the challenge. It's not just that intelligence that you have, but that drive to succeed. You're setting yourself up for a lot of success in the future by knocking that out so early. Zach Shepard bought a single-seater plane while still a cadet. Texans are like Kansans, but with an accent. That's what I get. Sorry. In his wing commander interview as a junior, he told me that 1 year was not enough time for his class to be in charge. That's some confidence right there. Use the gifts God has given you for the benefit of others, and you're going to be a great officer. To our NECP graduates, I'm sorry that I don't know you as well. I wish I did. But what I do know is that the Air Force pulled the best and brightest from its enlisted corps to select you for the program. I spent a short time enlisted myself, and I'm certain that the experience that you're bringing from your enlisted time will be a tremendous asset, both to you and to your units on day one. It's a whole new ball game, but you're ready for that challenge. Next week, I'll have my retirement ceremony. Today, I'm handing off the baton to the 15 of you. I'm going to leave you with two pieces of advice. Take care of your people well and find an anchor. Take care of your people well. You've got to know, you've got to see their potential through their faults. And then you've got to help them see that strength and help them to reach that potential. As to finding your anchor, there will be great times ahead. There will also be difficult times ahead. When everything else falls apart, you've got to have an anchor. For the past 30 years, for me, that's been my relationship with Jesus Christ. I've made some monumental mistakes and have experienced great pain and loss, but he's never left or forgotten me. Find an anchor. I'm so thankful for the time I've gotten to spend with all of you, and I will miss you more than you know. This has been the most rewarding job I've ever had, and maybe ever will. God bless you, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Whithoff. We will proceed with the oath of office, pinning, and first salute for each cadet. At graduation, it is customary for the graduates to select an officer of their choosing to administer their oath of office. Often, this person is a family member or mentor who has served or is currently serving in any branch of the military. The oath that these individuals will take is unique because, unlike other nations, our officers swear to a set of ideals established by our Constitution, not to a person or government. While the wording of the oath of office has changed over the past few centuries, the foundation has withstood the test of time. Now, as the commissionees take the oath of office, it is important to understand its key elements. The oath of office is required by federal law, but it has a greater meaning than simply reciting some words on a paper. Your oath is your word, and it serves to remind you of your obligation to your service and your country. The oath of office is also a reflection of our Air Force core values, our Airman's Creed, and our profession of arms. To understand the oath that you are about to take, there are several key elements to consider. When you recite the words, I name, do solemnly swear or affirm, you are making a public statement of commitment. accepting responsibility for your actions. When you vow to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, you are not swearing to support any one person or entity, but rather the Constitution, which symbolizes all of these things. You are also vowing to defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the nation. This oath is taken freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. By doing so, you promise to give it your all and well, and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which you are about to enter. The optional addition of "So help me God" signifies truth and commitment to what you have sworn to in the oath, calling upon a higher being or divine agency to assist with ensuring your own integrity and honesty. The traditional pinning of a second lieutenant is usually conducted by family members and other loved ones, and today's ceremony will be no different. A new lieutenant is not required to have someone pin on his or her rank, but this gesture is symbolic and reflects that no one earned their rank without the support of their family and friends. After each lieutenant is pinned, they will receive their first salute from a non-commissioned officer of their choosing. The first salute is a tradition with many of the details lost to time. In the 19th century, officer candidates were matched to non-commissioned officers for training prior to their commission. If their training was successful, the newly commissioned officer paid the non-commissioned officer with one of his or her silver dollar that was part of their stipend from the U.S. Army. It has often been joked that an officer would buy his or her first salute, but would earn every salute afterward. It is still customary for the second lieutenant to present a silver dollar to the enlisted member who gave him or her their first salute. It signifies a deep sense of gratitude for the knowledge of the enlisted personnel, especially non-commissioned officers, that have passed on to them during training. It's acknowledgement from one professional to another, saying, "Welcome to our service and to the profession of arms." Lieutenants and those participating, please come forward as your name is called. Audience, please hold your applause until each lieutenant is finished. And if you are able to stand, please do so while each oath of office is administered. Master Sergeant Dean Michael Aguon will take the oath from his friend, Lieutenant Lara Rivera, PhD, U.S. Navy retired. Lieutenant Dean Michael Uggins, AFST, is clinical nurse, and his first duty station is Travis Air Force Base, California. He will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Pinning Lieutenant Uggins' rank are his friends Carter Hepworth and Ethan Cutter. Lieutenant Uggin has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to his friend. Lieutenant Aguon has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to his friend, Specialist Benjamin M.N., U.S. Army retired. Cadet David Bartlett will take the oath from his mentor and friend, Second Lieutenant Anthony Mallock, U.S. Air Force.
I, David Bartlett, having been appointed as Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. So help me God.
Lieutenant David Bartlett's AFSC is pilot, and his first duty station is Laughlin Air Force Base, Texas. He'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Professional Aviation and a minor in Aviation Safety. Pending Lieutenant Bartlett's rank are his wife, Audrey Bartlett, his mother, Shannon Bartlett, and his grandmother, Janet Post. Lieutenant Bartlett has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to his father, Chris Bartlett, U.S. Air Force veteran, who is sharing this honor with his late grandfather, David Post, U.S. Air Force Vietnam War veteran. Cadet Brody Boehm will take the oath from his mentor, Major Brian Tabarez, U.S. Air Force. Maintaining Lieutenant Boehm's rank are his parents, Greg Boehm and Candace Abadiano, his brother Eli Boehm, and his grandparents, Larry and Carol Stevens. Lieutenant Boehm has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to his uncle, Corporal Jamie Stevens, U.S. Marine Corps retired. Cadet Shelby Clinton will take the oath from her mentor, Major Brian Tabarez, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Shelby Clinton's AFSC is Operations Research Analyst, and our first duty station is the Air Force Institute of Technology at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. She'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Pending Lieutenant Clinton's rank are her parents, Brian and Jen Clinton, and her fiance, Second Lieutenant Aaron Lamson, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Clinton has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to her mentor, Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Cadet Sierra Creek will take the oath from her uncle, Colonel Michael Shank, Jr., U.S. Air Force retired. Lieutenant Sierra Creek's AFSC is Acquisitions Manager, and her first duty station is Hanscom Air Force Base, Massachusetts. She'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Political Science. Hitting Lieutenant Creek's rank are her parents, Michael and Leanne Creek, and her brother, Zach Creek. Lieutenant Creek has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to her father, Staff Sergeant Michael Creek, Jr., U.S. Air Force veteran. Cadet Evan Drake will take the oath from his father, Lieutenant Colonel John Drake, U.S. Army retired. Lieutenant Evan Drake's AFSC is pilot, and his first duty station is Shepard Air Force Base, Texas, where he will be entering the Egypt program. He will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in History. Hitting Lieutenant Drake's rank are his mother, Stephanie Drake, his sister, Katie Drake, and his girlfriend, Elizabeth Parks. Lieutenant Drake has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to his mentor, Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Cadet Lily Galimba will take the oath from First Lieutenant Sam Kinsella, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Lily Galimba's AFSC is Intelligence, and her first duty station is Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. She will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical and Nuclear Engineering. Pinning Lieutenant Galimba's rank are her parents, June and Michaela Galimba. Lieutenant Galimba has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Staff Sergeant Stephanie Hackett will take the oath from her brother, Captain Austin Cook, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Stephanie Hackett's AFSC is Clinical Nurse, and her first duty station is Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska. She will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Pitting Lieutenant Hackett's rank are her husband, Austin Hackett, and her parents, Steve and Linda Cook. Lieutenant Hackett has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to Master-at-Arms 2nd Class Petty Officer Gail Brody, U.S. Navy Reserve. Cadet Drew Holliday will take the oath from First Lieutenant Sam Kinsella, U.S. Air Force.
I, Drew Holliday, have been appointed a second lieutenant. Being been appointed a second lieutenant of the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about. Of the office of which I am about. So help me God. So help me God.
Lieutenant Drew Holliday's AFSC is Missile Operations, and his first duty station is Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. He'll be graduating with a Master and Bachelor of Science in Architectural Engineering. Pitting Lieutenant Holliday's rank are his wife, Alyssa Holliday, and his parents, David and Kelly Holliday. Holliday has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to Sergeant First Class Charles William Brown, U.S. Army retired. Cadet Ann Langford will take the oath from her brother, Captain Joshua Langford, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Ann Langford's AFSC is pilot, and their first duty station is Fort Novosel, Alabama. She'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in History. Pinning Lieutenant Langford's rank are her parents, Ed and Michelle Langford. Lieutenant Langford has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to her instructor, Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Cadet Cameron Maltz will take the oath from his mentor, Major Brian DeBarres, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Cameron Maltz's AFSC is civil engineer, and his first duty station is Holliday Air Force Base, New Mexico. He'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Construction Science and Management. Pinning Lieutenant Maltz's rank are his parents, Jonathan and Jolene Maltz, and his brother, Braden Maltz. Lieutenant Maltz has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Staff Sergeant Lydia Payne will take the oath from Lieutenant Colonel Brian Whithoff, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Lydia Payne's Air Force AFSC is clinical nurse, and her first duty station is Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska. She will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Pinning Lieutenant Payne's rank are her husband, Adam Payne, her daughter, Aiko Payne, and her father, First Sergeant Liddell Galimba. Lieutenant Payne has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to her father-in-law, Petty Officer First Class Richard Payne, U.S. Navy retired. Cadet Deirdre Poague will take the oath from Major Brian Tabares, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Poague's AFSC is Civil Engineering, and her first duty station is RAF Alconbury, United Kingdom. She will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Pinning Lieutenant Poague's rank are her parents, Larry and Cheryl Poague, and her sister, Haley Poague. Lieutenant Poague has chosen to give the honor of her first salute to her father, Command Sergeant Major Larry Poague, U.S. Army retired. Cadet Riley Shelton will take the oath from his mentor, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Whithoff, U.S. Air Force. Lieutenant Shelby's AFSC is Developmental Engineer, and his first duty station is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. He'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. Pending Lieutenant Shelton's rank are his fiancée, Zoe Horton, his parents, Jason and Amy Beckman, and his brother, Braden Beckman. Lieutenant Shelton has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to Sergeant Dwight Ewert, U.S. Army retired. Cadet Zach Shepard will take the oath from his mentor, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Whithoff, U.S. Air Force. Zach Shepard's AFSC is pilot, and his first duty station is Laughlin Air Force Base, Texas. He'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Pending Lieutenant Shepard's rank are his parents, Scott and Michelle Shepard, and his girlfriend, Melissa Meldman. Lieutenant Shepard has chosen to give the honor of his first salute to Technical Sergeant Corey Perez. Next, we will recognize our distinguished graduate from Detachment 270 at Kansas State University. This honor is bestowed upon cadets that rank in the top 10% of all Air Force ROTC commissionees in the nation. The distinguished graduate for fiscal year 2025 is Lieutenant Ann Langford. Now, each commissionee will come forward and receive their commissioning certificate, Airman's Coin, and Kansas State Presidential Coin. Air Force doctrine defines an airman as any U.S. Air Force member who supports and defends the U.S. Constitution and serves our country. Air Force airmen are those people who formally belong to the United States Air Force and employ or support some aspect of the Air Force's air, space, and cyberspace capabilities. An airman is a person who understands and appreciates the full range of air, space, and cyberspace power. This tradition signifies the moment your loved one earns the right to be called an airman. In the Air Force, military training instructors award the Airman's Coin to new enlisted personnel upon completion of basic military training and to new officers upon completion of officer training. The first side of the Airman's Coin presents the United States Air Force symbol, which honors the heritage of our past and represents the promise of our future. It retains the core elements of our Air Corps heritage, the Arnold wings and star with a circle, and modernizes them to reflect our Air and Space Force of today and tomorrow. The entire image is circled with the sentence, awarded on the occasion of becoming an airman in the world's best Air Force. The reverse side of the coin has a white star with a red dot in the center, known as a Hap Arnold star, flanked by a pair of wings. The symbol recalls the Air Force's roots in the Army Air Corps. The symbol is surrounded by our core values: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Will Lieutenant Colonel Whithoff, Major DeBarres, and President Richard Linton please come forward to present the certificate, Airman's Coin, and Presidential Coin. Second Lieutenant Dean Michael Uggan. Second Lieutenant David Bartlett. Second Lieutenant Brody Boehm. Second Lieutenant Shelby Clinton. Second Lieutenant Sierra Creek. Second Lieutenant Evan Drake. Second Lieutenant Billy Galimba. Second Lieutenant Stephanie Hackett. Second Lieutenant Drew Holliday. Second Lieutenant Ann Langford. Second Lieutenant Cameron Maltz. Second Lieutenant Lydia Payne. Second Lieutenant Deirdre Poague. Second Lieutenant Riley Shelton. Second Lieutenant Zach Shepard. Please join me in giving one final round of applause for our graduates. Please stay standing for the benediction by Cadet Joe Sanchez and the singing of the Air Force song. You will find the words to the Air Force song on the back of your program.
Please bow your heads and pray as we pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the time we have shared today to honor the hard work and accomplishments of these men and women. We are grateful for the unconditional support provided by their friends, family, spouses, mentors, who have helped them reach this moment. Guide and protect them in their new endeavors, granting them strength, courage, wisdom, and peace in all their responsibilities. Bless their leadership, and may they continue to grow, excel, and thrive while remaining mindful of their roots. We ask that you watch over each person as they depart, keeping them safe in all of their travels and celebrations. We ask all of this in your holy name, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending Detachment 270's Air Force ROTC Spring 2025 Commissioning Ceremony. Please remain standing for the departure of the official party.
We will be having a reception in the Bluemont Room, which is on the 3rd floor besides the grand ballroom. There will be refreshments provided there, as well as a place to take pictures. You can please make your way there now.